1, 2, we're live.
Awesome.
Sweet. Brian, thanks for coming on, man.
Thanks for having me.
It feels like you're a mile away.
I know. You are definitely far away.
Yeah.
Jason's stuck in the middle.
Normally, I'm in the middle, and then we were on that little stand there, and then so I'm sitting there, and I'm like this and back with this mic. I'm trying to figure the whole thing out, and I'm like, what the fuck? And then this has been in the corner the whole time, so I figure might as well use the equipment we have, man.
I'll be the peanut butter. Don't be the bread.
Yeah.
I'm the substance.
Sounds like all of it. So if I start choking in my blood, you know how to save me, right? And you don't have to be quiet over there. I mean, you could chime in anytime. This is family events. It's real.
Got Luke and Juju with me today, so.
And then Soko did all right with Juju. I was surprised.
Yeah. She's a good dog. Soko's a pretty cool dog.
She doesn't care.
I like her.
At the end of the day.
What's bad with Juju is if there's an object like glass or a fence between her and another dog, then she's buck wild. Like buck wild.
Yeah.
But before that, if she's like up close and personal with the dog, no issues at all. It's just when there's like
the
glass or a fence or something, she's like, no, I want to be over there playing with that dog. So yeah.
So you get the whole spaz thing just simply because she wants. Yeah,
you're right.
No barriers.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's because she's good. It's the whole deal. Yeah. So the quick 2 cents. Are you the owner?
Yep.
And I don't, because sometimes people get their panties in a wad if you say the wrong thing.
Nope. My panties aren't going to get in a wad.
Well, no. If there was somebody else, their panties might get in a wad.
No. Yeah.
So
I do have a business partner, but I'm the owner, operator of that.
Is it Renzo Gracie Houston or
Renzo Gracie Houston?
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I had figured. Yeah. And y'all just finished open mat, so you're wide awake and.
Definitely. One of us.
I didn't get to go.
Went.
Oh.
I got called out at 6 a.m., so it's not my fault.
Yeah, I was sleeping.
You had to work.
I was sleeping then.
I got called out. I didn't get done with that till after 10, so I ran home, grabbed some food, got showered up and cleaned up, and came to grab this guy and bring him over here.
Oh, okay. So you are wide awake.
I'm very awake.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
And then you're president of We Defy Foundation. Right?
Yes.
Yeah, and then that is specifically to wounded combat vets.
Combat disabled veterans.
Okay.
And specific to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Okay.
So the foundation is a non-for-profit, and a combat disabled veteran would apply to the foundation for their tuition to be paid for at a certified training facility. Then there are many of those around the United States.
Yeah.
It's not one affiliation. Any gym, any Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu academy can apply to be a certified training facility, and they get vetted through a process. And then once the combat disabled veterans approved, they go into a waiting list, awaiting funding to pay their tuition at that academy. So,
how many We Defys are affiliated? How many gyms are affiliated with We Defy?
Ooh, I mean, we add gyms every day. There's probably at least 200 around the United States that are affiliated with it.
That's a lot.
So, some of the big ones. Atos, Renzo Gracie, the actual academy in New York. But yeah, Atos, the headquarters, is affiliated with it. Obviously, my gym. There's BJJ Revolution. I mean, there's as far as the teams, there's tons of teams that are affiliated with it. But you don't have to be on a specific team. Individuals can be as well.
Yeah.
Like Chris Howder, it's his team, so I mean he's affiliated with it. But and there's over 200 and close to 300 athletes training right now. So
I see it a lot on social media, guys that wearing the We Defy rash guards and
we just switched over our website for the store and just released a bunch of the limited edition pre-orders for the ranked rash guards are going on right now. And then we're in the design process for some T-shirts and other apparel as well. So.
Yeah,
it's cool stuff. And like most of that proceeds go to
100%
right back into the program.
Yeah, all the president, vice president, anybody associated with the board are all volunteers.
Okay.
None of us receive a salary. So 100% of the money that's raised through either private donation, corporate sponsorship, seminars that we conduct monthly, or the store goes 100% of it goes into veterans training jiu-jitsu.
So basically what it allows veterans who are training jiu-jitsu, it pays for their gym fees, for their sometimes like privates and stuff like that too? Or
yes. So they'll get a gi, patches, And then monthly tuition is paid for.
Yeah.
In certain circumstances, if privates are needed to get that veteran more comfortable with training or to work out any kinks and things like that with the training process, then those are covered. But as general spectrum, it's the tuition that's paid for.
Yeah, and there's been a lot of stuff that shows that jiu-jitsu is super beneficial to veterans dealing with PTSD, with other issues associated with combat or having injuries and stuff like that.
And it's not just veterans too. I mean, first responders and that as well. Anybody that deals with high stress, high traumatic environments, you know, it's great for that. I know even doctors, nurses that deal with trauma and stressful situations, lawyers. I mean, it's a great, just in itself, stress reliever. So.
Well, getting strangled and strangling people.
Yeah, I mean, legally.
Legally, yeah, you get to work it out.
And you get it all out of your system.
Okay, so I'll throw the psychological science behind it, right? So basically, they're always saying that anyone with PTSD, I'm going to blanket everyone, right? Not just combat vets, not just anybody, is one of the main things they need to do is moderate to higher levels of physical exertion, right? And then a lot of times things like the running and cycling the longer distance are less beneficial. So bursts of moderate to extreme physical activity or physical exertion is one component. The other component is they have them doing all of these games and things, chess, mind games, luminosity stuff, all these types of deals. What the fuck is jiu-jitsu?
Yeah.
It's both.
It's combined. It's both. But you know, seriously,
so possible conditions.
Right, you know, and it's you're going through that moderate to high level of physical exertion. You're having to test your boundaries. You're having to think. You're having, you know, it just works. It works on both sides of it.
I would agree with that.
I mean, yeah. So there we go. If you're texting your mama, we're getting it's all on, dude. No.
Mashed potatoes, ma.
So you served as well, right?
Yes, I was in for 20 years.
Oh, you did the full 20.
I retired.
Sweet.
My official retirement date was April 1st, 2015. I signed out on leave, I think, December 11th. This is when I started growing my beard.
Yeah.
Of 2014, so.
Okay.
And then I opened up the gym July of 2014.
Oh,
but prior to that, I was teaching in a couple of different gyms, and I was teaching in Tennessee when I lived up there. And, so.
When you got out, that's where you were. That's where you were.
This is where I was at when I retired.
Okay.
My last gig in the Army was in recruiting down here, and so I was.
Oh shit! You had to do recruiting.
I
say had to. Oh really?
I was selected first. I didn't want anything to do with recruiting initially. My daughter's getting ready to be born. We were in Fort Lewis, Washington, which was where she was at, and they're like, "Hey, you need to go. Your next duty station, like a few months after she was going to be born, was going to be Korea." And I was like, "Nah, I don't want to miss like the first year of her life. I want to try to do something different." I said, "Send me to Germany." I said, "If I got to go overseas, send me to Germany." And they're like, and they were overstrength because I was just a nobody at that time and with rank. So they're like, "Oh, we're overstrength. We can't send you over there." And I was like, "All right, well, send me someplace else." And they're like, "Call me back." So I called them back. They're like, "You're on assignment for Fort Knox." And I was like, "Fort Knox? Nobody wants to go to Fort Knox." And so like, "No, that's just where the headquarters of recruiting is. You're going to recruiting." And I was like, "Oh no." So I was like, "Well, at least I'll get to spend time with my daughter." Well, long nights and many hours. I didn't deploy at that time, but then we moved to Iowa. My son was born there, and then like 3 days after he was born, we moved. So ended up moving all over the place.
Damn. So recruiting, though, they send family to recruiting, right? Most of the time. Okay.
Yeah.
It's a little different with all the different MLS and everything.
Yeah, it's definitely different. There's only a few like hardship places that families don't go. Most of those all those are overseas. So
yeah.
But even now, Korea used to be no families way back when, and then they did family sponsorships a few years later. So it just makes a longer tour. Instead of doing 12 months, you do like 2 years or 2.5 years, something like that.
Yeah. See, I think ours 36 months was the minimum for family. I think.
I didn't have a family when I was in, so I don't know.
Oh, see, there is a little wisdom in there. I don't know about how much, but there's a little.
I didn't have to worry about any of that stuff. They just sent me to Panama once, and I was like, okay, this is fun.
So, okay, I'm curious on this part of it. Business. I just love, because I've owned a bunch of businesses. I've owned gyms. I've owned the whole. I've been through those things.
That's the first. I was trying to rack my brain, and sitting here, I finally realized the first time I met you was in the gym, not my gym.
No, which one?
Your gym.
Oh, was it in mine?
Yeah.
Because that's what I was trying to. I was like,
In a lifetime?
shit. No, it built.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was the first time sitting here. I was like, because I don't forget faces, and sometimes it takes me a minute, but I'm like, man, where is it at? Then as soon as you start talking, I was like, I know I've seen him before
that was
at
the way.
his gym. Yep.
Because I was like, because you kept saying, yo, you met Brian. I'm like, yeah. And I knew I did, and I knew generally the atmosphere, but I was like, fuck, which one?
Yeah.
I was like, shit, which one?
Yeah. I just figured that out, like sitting here, right before it started. I was like, yep, that's where I met him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So doing all that, so businesses, customer service. Sorry, I want to choke the shit out of people with customer service. I mean, it is holy mother of God. Yes, you actually get to see where I was most recently. Yeah. It's frowned upon.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't know how much Jason had my back. So
right.
We cover the little reports and things. Right. They instigated it. They started.
It depends on where you. I got like about 2 miles of jurisdiction, so you have to hit it in there. Other than that, you're on your own, brother.
Other than that. So part of it is so many people, especially in today's day and age, corporations, all that kind of stuff, are getting less and less and less. More self-employment, small business owners, things that are popping up everywhere. The world of jiu-jitsu doesn't have a crazy amount of overhead like a big commercial gym and things of that nature. But I mean, shit, mats aren't expensive or aren't inexpensive.
Yeah, I mean, rent's not cheap where I'm at.
In
the land of sugar. Rent's not cheap down there.
Is it cheaper on the second floor?
Not much, a little bit, but not much.
Because I was sitting there, I was wondering that, the first time I had gone past, I was like, is it cheaper because it's up, or is it more expensive because more people can see it?
Yeah.
I was like, I'm curious.
But it's crazy. Yeah, that's the thing that saw. And honestly, I didn't want to even be in that gym. I wanted nothing to do with even being down that far down 6. I wanted to be up closer to 90 on 6. I didn't want to be on the other side of 59.
Yeah.
I wanted to be up closer to 90. And there was actually a spot there that I was looking at, and then the people and it was on the second floor too, but it was a great spot. I mean, it was a great spot, but it would have had to been completely built out. I mean, it was a shell. It was nothing.
Yeah.
And so that deal fell through. I guess somebody else was going to move into that spot or expressed interest in it. So he's like, let me show you this other spot. I'm like, where's it at? He's like, it's the one I told you at, down 6. I was like, I don't want to go down there. He's like, just let me show it to you. So, I mean, I resisted. It was like a couple of weeks, but I needed to get something.
Yeah.
And he's like, just let me show you this space. And so as soon as he showed it to me, I was like, I'll take it. And which sucked because I did not want to be in that area. Not because of the area, just because there's another gym right across the street, and I didn't want to be anywhere near that gym. Yeah. I mean, I do my own thing. I don't care about other people's students. If they want to train at the gym, that's fine. If they want to train at their gym, that's fine. If I've had students leave my gym to go train at other gyms. I mean, at the end of the day, they're a paying customer. They're going to go, and I have before gone to a place where it was better suited for me to learn in that environment. And if I found one that was better than the other, that's just how it was. It was my job that I was doing to learn jiu-jitsu, not their job. I was employing them to teach me.
Right.
So the benefit of that is if I want to take my business elsewhere, I can.
That's business. I mean, that's just simply business. Yeah.
So, and that's the way that I've always been. That's why that open mat that we had today was, and it is a freaking awesome open mat.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen it. Like literally right when I got his text, I was looking at it. I saw the post, and I was like, "Damn, that was a good turnout."
What's funny is someone called it. This is like the Switzerland of jiu-jitsu here in Houston, and I was like, "God, that's a perfect."
That it is
so perfect because we have everybody from pretty much every gym in Houston show up.
And I stay like any drama that gets. They're like, "Hey, Brian, what do you think?" I was like, "I don't know. I got nothing to do with any of that. Don't think I care about. It's right here."
Yeah.
He's smarter than me. I want to get into that. So what happened? No shit. Well, what about these guys?
Yeah. You know what I mean? Not me. And they're like, "Hey, Brian." I was like, "Nope, I don't care. The only thing I care about is these blue mats, blue and gray mats right here, and those blue mats over there. That's it."
That's how you have to, especially in jiu-jitsu. I mean, I'm gonna say any of the combat arts. Because people get so clicked, and you got to be careful of that.
Depends. Different gyms have more cliquish than others. I think. I mean, every gym's cliquish, right? But we've talked about that before. Like it's that line between kind of being loyal to your gym and the guys you train with and your professors.
And that's what makes the gym, not forcing, and going back to kind of what I was talking a second ago, that's what makes the gym good and makes an instructor good, is when people want to be there because of the instructor, not because they think that they have to stay there because of some crazy loyalty. They're loyal to the person because they want to be loyal to them, not because they think that they have to feel loyalty to that person.
I think sometimes that loyalty is masked in a political favor type of situation. Like they think if they're massively loyal to Professor X, had to say that, I knew you're gonna, that they would get favor.
And it's not like I'm saying, hey, move all over the place and jump around and stuff. No, find a place that is going to be conducive to you learning, and you like the people, you like the environment, you like what you get from the instructor, and then go after it. Yeah. But if you're doing something and you're like, man, this atmosphere isn't it, and this or that, if they were in my gym and they felt that way, I'd want them to go where they were feeling the most happiest to train.
Well, because you purely want them to succeed.
Right.
You're not saying, oh, one student is going to make or break me financially.
Right.
It's more about go find what's right for you.
Right.
Get it.
And I want to provide that too. Yeah. If something is going on that they would rather have, and that's why I ended up changing to the gym or the team that I am now, is because I just wanted the ability to assess what the students were doing at any given time, and if I needed to adjust anything, I could do that for the students. Yeah. I didn't feel like I was obligated to a certain set of criteria that I couldn't necessarily adjust. Now I can. Yeah. And I think that the environment in the gym has definitely shown it. As soon as we changed colors, it was like I could be me again and not have to worry about anything, getting in trouble.
You could feel it. You could literally feel the weight of all that stress gone.
Just dissipate.
You could feel it. And maybe because I'm closer to it. Yeah. But I think everybody felt like a little sigh of relief.
Yeah. And when people ask me, like, hey, how's it been? How's the transition? It's like a world of weight off of my shoulders. Yeah. It's like I got nothing against the other team, or nothing against any of the people. Heck, I can't think of a person that I have a problem with in jiu-jitsu or in general. I don't care what team they're on. I do a lot of seminars with the We Defy Foundation. I brought people from all different teams into my gym to do seminars. But, at the end of the day, you just want to have that great environment. Yeah. So. And
it is a situation, and we're not going to name anybody whatever you can't say, don't say it. Obviously, I don't want you to get anybody pissed off or anything. But the way I read it is it really was just simply a structure and systems thing more than anything.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And what team you were with isn't bad or negative. It just wasn't in line with your deal.
Mm-hmm. And they're a great team. I fought for Gracie Baja for 12 years or something like that, 11 years. Yeah. So, I was on that team for a long time. Even when I moved away to an area that didn't have Gracie Baja, I still trained with people and fought under Gracie Baja for those years. Yeah. And then when I had the ability to move again, I moved specifically to this town because of Gracie Baja and because of Draculino. Yeah. That's the reason I moved to Houston. And so, leaving wasn't an easy decision by any means at all. It was very, very difficult. And it wasn't just an overnight thing. It got to the point where it's like, I have to make a decision. Yeah. So I made the decision that I felt was best for me, my business, and my students. And I think it's been a great change. So.
From the students, it's I've got to second it from the students. I don't know the before and after, but these guys seem happy.
I think things are better, and I enjoy it. I'm enjoying it more. So I was totally supporting. I supported Brian in whatever decision he was going to make, but I'm glad he made the decision he did. I think in the gym it just feels a little better, and I think anytime there's stress coming down on the owner and head instructor, and the stuff that he was dealing with, it's going to be palpable inside the gym to some degree. Yeah. And I don't know. I think it's just better. I think plus I think the gym actually looks nicer with the new colors.
I do. I like it.
Aesthetically, it's a lot better.
Yeah. Blue's always been my favorite color.
Yeah.
So.
So
It was always difficult because I grew up like Luke. You know, I was a redhead. You know, we're a dying breed, and so you know, redheads wearing red shirts. You know, really I never wore a lot of red. Now I wear red, and it's no big deal because I just got used to it. But because that was the colors. But now that it's blue, I mean, I still like red. But before, you know, if I had a choice to choose, red was never going to be that choice. But
so now we know the real underlying reason the whole team switched.
I just like blue.
overload.
Ginger overload.
Yeah. Okay, you got to tell people. So the reality of business, because this just trips me out that people don't understand any of these things.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to, by owning your own school, academy, gym business, typically in this world, you're not going to go have 10 Lamborghinis and 6 houses spread across the country, right? See, that's the reaction exactly that I wanted. You're
No.
like, bullshit. No.
I mean, that'd be nice. I mean, but I don't think if I ever had that kind of money, I would have that anyway. That's
Well,
just
right.
not-
Yeah.
I have a shit ton of guns. Man.
I'd have a
Bunch of
I wouldn't
land
have to
and-
worry about where I was going to go shoot. I'd walk outside
Yeah.
and go shoot. Yeah, I definitely would have a shit ton
You
of
have the
guns.
Lamborghini of guns,
No
Yeah.
joke.
scars, and bears.
So
I have a bunch
how tough was it getting the school open?
of-
Did you get so part of it is there's a lot of veterans watching, obviously. So did you get VA help?
no.
Okay.
Before I made the decision to open it, I was going to get out and be a cop.
Okay.
When I retired, I was either going to stay here and do law enforcement, or I was going to move back to Tennessee. I'd already had contacted people about the time frame that I needed to. So move back to Tennessee or stay in Houston and be a cop. That's what my goal was from the time that I joined the Army till the time that I got out. And I'd always assess when I went time to re-enlist, do I want to get out and do this, or do I want to stay in and do this?
Yeah.
And until it was time for me to retire, when that decision was made, do I want to stay in again, or do I want to get out? And I said, at that time, I wanted to get out. It's time for me to retire. I'm eligible to retire. I'll retire. And so the plan was, like I said, to be in law enforcement. But I had a meeting with my business partners, and they said, hey, we'd like to discuss an opportunity with you. If you were interested in opening a gym, we would be interested in investing in it. And so that was my financial backing.
Yeah.
And so we decided to open up the gym, and it was all personally funded.
Yeah. Which is really the best way to go.
And
I mean,
so,
anybody watching.
right.
Yeah. Non-traditional.
So that loan was personally refunded back to them. So now it's great, but it was difficult initially because, like I said, the whole time that I was in the Army, the plan was to get out and be in law enforcement.
Yeah.
The plan was never, ever to run a business, ever. I may have done things a little bit differently if my plan was to run a business when I got out. I'd actually learn about running a business because it was like,
I don't know. Sometimes
Yeah.
I think learning along the way is.
and it did.
you know,
I mean, there
there's
were a
some
lot
benefit
of
to that.
trial and errors. I forget what the movie is, where he talks about, maybe it was Pure Country. Is that a movie?
Yeah, it is.
Where he talks about putting a chicken up on the stage and turning up the fire, and that's how they get the chicken to dance. That's what I felt like.
Basically, yeah.
It's like I was like thrown in there. It was like I was thrown on there. The fire was cranked up. Hey, you got to do this to survive, buddy. Good luck, and then go after it.
Shit, the great motivator, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was a
I
great
remember
moment.
those days because I remember there was like when you first started, like it would just be me.
Yeah.
So he would just kick my ass for an hour, and then we'd leave. And he was like, if I could just get to this many students by
Yeah.
this next month, I can make it another month.
Yeah.
If I can make it to this many students, I can make it another month.
Yeah.
He was really literally almost month to month just
Yeah.
surviving. And then he finally, he's like,
Yeah,
you can
just-
start to see that little peak.
Yeah, and the thing about it is we were trying to do, I mean, we tried to spend as little money as we could get that thing going. So I didn't have a huge advertising budget. Everything
Yeah.
that I was doing was either on social media or through word of mouth. The thing that I started doing is I started competing. I said, if people are going to come train at my gym, they at least need to know who I am and
Yeah.
where I'm at. So I started competing every month. Like every single month I was competing somewhere. And so that helped a lot too. That, and then just people you know, the legitimacy behind a name. Like, oh, who teaches down there? Oh, this guy.
Yeah.
Who's that guy? Or people are like, oh yeah, I've seen that guy fight at
Yeah.
this tournament or that tournament or this super fight or that one. And so that helped out a lot. Just getting my name out there so people could figure out who I was, and just not some dude. You know?
Yeah. Well, I mean that, and then any kind of win, any kind of just simply enter. Just
Yeah.
having the competition list behind you is going to be
Yeah.
huge. How much do you think social media helped, or is
Oh,
helping?
a ton.
Yeah.
I mean, I still use social media as my primary means of interacting with potential clients and clients. It plays a huge part of what I do in that business.
So do you actually boost and market and dump money in the ads on it, or
So
do you
every once
spend
in a
the time?
while, I'll do a sponsored ad.
Okay.
For a short period of time, not a long period of time. But I'm not running any ads right now on Facebook or Instagram or any social media platforms right now, and I haven't for probably the past month and a half, maybe 2.
Because I'm just kind of I'm on the fence on it. It's because everything I read, they're like, you got to play their game to get their exposure with all the analytics
and that's I've heard that too, and that's the same thing with like Google AdWords and all that stuff.
Yeah.
To be number 1 on the front page, and I've talked to a lot of people. If you're doing a lot of stuff and you're putting a lot of content on there, you may not be number 1 on a sponsored ad, but you're dumping a lot of money to get that.
Yeah.
Where I can be number 3 on the front page, and
you can spend a penny.
And if you've got lazy people that are gonna only go for sponsored ads and not do research, and then you're gonna have that student for 3 months or 6 months.
Yeah.
Whereas if people know you and they've heard about you and you've got a great reputation behind you, when they sign up, they're not signing up to try it out. They're signing up because they've already heard about you and they've heard about that atmosphere that you've got there.
Yeah.
And so they're going to sign up for a lot longer period of time.
Well, they'll be more committed to it, more
Right.
serious about it. I mean, it's the whole, because they found
It's like-
you. It's organic. Yeah,
it's
the
like
organic growth.
Groupon.
Oh, Lord. Don't ever do it.
Well, I did for a while, but I was like, and that was just to have an extra thing. But the Groupon is I think I had 2 people come to the gym from Groupon.
Is that like the little what do you call it?
It's an app, like coupon app.
Coupons.
Yeah,
Coupon
Some
app,
people
yeah.
coming with coupons.
I've only had 2 that had ever come in. And I don't think I'm even on Groupon anymore. I think I told Jenny, I was like, hey, get us off of that because it's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
But I had 2 people come in, and I was like, yeah, sure, I'll honor all of that. I mean, I think it was like a gi and like 2 months worth of training or
Really?
something like that.
Damn, that's pretty good.
You know
That's
what?
a really good.
Yeah.
deal.
But you know what those people did?
What?
They signed up for it, and then they never came in to get their gi, and then they never did any of their trial. So they came in, they're like, hey, I signed up for this Groupon a few months ago and I got it. I just want to use it. I'm like, okay. So they give me the sheet of paper with the thing. So I'd scan the code to make sure that it was still valid, which gives me my money, which is a chump change at that point based on what they're collecting.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, come back in. Here's the class schedule. Come back in. We'll get your gi, blah, 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 blah. And then they would never come back in.
So they had a free gi waiting on them.
Free gi
Nice.
and a couple months
And
worth
a
of
couple
training.
months
And never come
Yeah.
back. And only 2 people ever come in off Groupon. That's when I made the decision, like I talked about. The most important thing is if you have the reputation and the professionalism to back it, people are going to come and train at your gym for a reason. They're going to stay there longer.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, absolutely.
I agree a lot. That's funny though. They gave up $300-something worth of.
Yeah.
They probably had no idea what.
No,
No.
they don't know.
Oh, this looks cool. I could go train UFC.
You know what
Oh,
other
shit.
things? Yeah, train UFC.
Stop with this
We've had a
shit.
couple of those guys. We've had a couple. You know, one of the other cool things that he does, which is, obviously for me, I think is as cool as he gets law enforcement like for 6 months free.
Yeah.
And we've gotten a few guys in that way. And
Mhm.
some of them are stuck. Not everybody. I think we've had more success with law enforcement coming in and training than most
Yeah,
gyms that
I
I've
think
talked
so.
to. I think a lot have had. They've offered similar stuff, sometimes even more.
Mhm.
But cops maybe cut. From what I've heard from like Foster and I think the Blast, they're saying they had like so many started and then like almost all of them stopped
Yep.
training.
It's crazy.
And it's,
Well,
I mean, even if they just did the 6 months and just trained their ass off for 6 months, 2 things are going to happen. One, they're going to be less stressed. But 2, any human interaction, which happens 100% of the time,
Yeah.
if you're in law enforcement,
Mm-hmm.
any human interaction is going to be 75% more comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Just interacting with the person.
Mm-hmm.
Reading their body language becomes easier because you know when a person's getting ready to grab you or do something stupid at that point.
Yeah.
So a lot of instinctual things are better. Just straight up being comfortable around another person that may at any time become aggressive towards you becomes easier. Even if they just did 6 months. And then after that went, hey, I appreciate that 6 months. That was for free. I don't want anything to do with this anymore. I just wanted 6 months of getting used to doing something.
Yeah.
Good luck.
They're still better.
Yes.
I just challenge anybody to be committed for 6 months and not be hooked.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing, too. If you're doing it for and I've had ones that come in that say, hey, I just want to do this for 6 months, no problem. And then those ones last like 2.
Yeah.
And then the ones that come and say, hey, you know, there's this thing, I just want to try it out and see how it goes. Those are the ones that are hooked.
Yeah.
They don't care about the 6 month time. They say, hey, thanks for that. And then when 6 months comes up, I don't even bring it up to them. They come to me and they're like, hey, I think my 6 month thing is getting ready to come up. Can you check on that for me? I think I need to start paying you. And I'm like, yes, I will check on that.
You're right.
Immediately. Jason.
Yeah.
Charging you double from now on.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I always get kicked.
Because we did that, you know, and that's my whole deal. So we did that at the gym, as it was free for, you know, military and veterans and first responders and stuff like that. Free during like a 4 or 5 hour block throughout the week, and then it was a 20 or 25% discount across the board and everything else.
That's really cool.
Every single officer and first responder and so on and so forth that came in was kind of like, well, what's the catch? Like, what? Like, free? Like, what do you need? What am I gonna do? What do I sign up for? What you know? What's this?
Think I think a lot of cops, first responders, whatever, if they come in because it's free, they're really not going to stay.
Well, the thing about it is,
not motivated to do it.
coming in because it's free, it's just an incentive to get them in the door to do something.
Right.
You know, if they really wanted to do it, they were going to do it anyway. But seeing that, hey, over here at my gym, they offer 6 months for free. That's kind of like all right, well, if I can at least do it for free, at least I can figure it out if I really want to do it.
Yeah.
At least I get it for free for a little bit.
Get their feet wet, just kind of, you know, test it and try it, and
Yeah, I don't know. I agree with that. I just think that most cops, first responders, whatever, if they really want to do it, they don't care if it's free or not. They want to fucking do it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're
eventually.
going to come in. And
Eventually, they want to do it. And what's funny is I used to go to one department. They used to let me come in because they used my red man suit and just talk to them, say, hey, you know, I got 6 months at my gym. If what you just did right there, you feel like you need to be better at that, come to my place 6 months for free, no questions asked.
Yeah.
And I think like 2 of those people actually came the entire time that I mean, they may come for one class to try it out and be like, oh yeah, I remember you offering this, I want to come try it out. And they last like no time. And I'm like, do you remember how you felt in that situation? Like, it's not going to get any easier.
That's
You
how
know what I mean?
And I don't understand why. I really don't get it. Like, if you're a police officer or you have to physically engage people in physical combat at some point and your life is at risk, why the fuck are you not training? Like, how are you, like, putting that, why are you just, hey, I'm tough enough? Like, why? How are you taking a chance?
Oh, so I'm gonna take that one step further. Here's what blows my friggin' mind with this stuff is literally. So you being a school owner right here, what would be the cost for you to send 1 or 2 instructors 4 or 5 days a week to Sugar Land PD to teach?
That's
They don't
not
have
the
the-
issue. That's not the issue.
That isn't the issue. The issue with that is officers don't like to just offer to people to go there.
No, I'm thinking more of a mandatory thing. That was sort of I was getting
That-
there.
well,
but that
that's-
that was sort of
We
step
want
one.
Instructors to go to Sugar Land or whatever, name the PD and do
Yeah.
what and do what.
And instruct.
Well, here's
so
here's the issue with that.
Yeah.
Here's the issue. And first of all, it's changing now, but most police departments are scared to death of jiu-jitsu. They're scared to death of a choke, and it has a lot to do with 70s with improperly used chokes,
Right.
Damaging people's neck, causing some deaths and damaging suspects, lawsuits, all these things. Chokes got outlawed
Right.
by most departments for a long time. It's coming back with the growth of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, with the knowledge that's now out there, with the Gracie Academy, and there's controversy about them in a lot of ways, but they push very strongly law enforcement based jiu-jitsu, and they put a lot of stuff out there. So you're seeing departments start to come around, but most of the guys running departments are old heads.
Yeah.
And were around for the 70s and 80s. And so they're like, no. Chokes. When I'm teaching defensive tactics and I teach jiu-jitsu based, that's the one thing I'm told, no chokes. So I will show a choke, and so they identify it, and so that if someone tries to do it to them, don't let this happen. Get the fuck out of it.
What's funny is this. I challenge somebody to tell me that this isn't true. And I don't know because I'm not in law enforcement, but I can only imagine versus things that I've heard. If there's a situation where somebody's going to be fighting, or you're going to a call, or you've got something that pops up, and the propensity to hey, these people are probably going to fight. Hey, send Jason over there because he trains. If these people start getting out of hand, Jason will be able to handle them better than anybody else. Just to use you as an example because you're sitting right here. But I guarantee people in their minds go, hey, send X on this call, or have him over there as a backup on this call in case something gets crazy.
Yeah.
Why? Because X person trains in some martial art. Doesn't have to be jiu-jitsu. Any martial art. Because I know others train in other stuff too. But, I mean, any type of training where you're dealing with personal conflict is going to be better than no training.
Right.
In dealing with personal conflict. But I challenge people to tell me that they don't do that. Hey, send such and such over there because of this call or that call.
I would think it would be the backup, yes. The who is first responders, a lot of times just locale.
Right.
So that one you don't necessarily get to pick, but
Yeah.
if you're sitting in the office and something's happened right over the way and they know Johnny's going to go first, I could see
they
them.
won't even have to tell me.
Right. That's
But you know what
also
I'm
kind
saying?
of the point. Yeah, I'm with you on that.
No, I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree with you at all that a sergeant want to get on the air and say, hey, so-and-so, head over there and check by with them.
Yeah.
But this and this is the second part of that. So if officers know that, hey, I'd rather have X on this call because he does this, why wouldn't they try to do the same thing that person's doing? Like, hey, they're so good at their job because they do this. Well, gee, how about I do that and maybe I'll get better at my job or better at human interaction at this point.
That's exactly my point from earlier. It's like my whole thing is like, how is some part of a combative arts not required from the academy and mandatory throughout their entire service? How is that not a part of it?
The two things that I wish were mandatory is more shooting and more some type of grappling art.
So what's funny about that is they'll send us to shit ton of classes, right? Over just about anything you can imagine, from sensitivity training to whatever, right? I've gone to some classes and I'm like, what a waste of a day, right? But the thing we get the least amount of training in, defensive tactics. I'm trying to change up my department, but defensive tactics, shooting, and driving. And I'll tell you right now, driving is a big one. We get chased
driving
all
happens
the time.
all the time.
But you're driving 8 hours a day.
You're driving
But
100%
you're
of your
chasing
shift.
people around.
I've never thought about driving.
You're hitting like 95 all the time, trying to catch up through traffic. There are some people with really crappy driving skills running around these patrol cars. Not to mention you got laptops, cell phones, radars, all this crap going on.
Seats that don't adjust.
Yeah.
You get in, it's too tight. You get in, too big. You get some crazy stuff, but yeah, we get the least amount of training in those, and arguably, and I don't even think it's arguably, those are the three most deadly things we have to do on a daily basis.
Right.
Yeah.
And we get almost zero. But hey,
or have the possibility of doing on a daily basis.
Every day it's possible that you're going to jump into that, and we
Yeah,
get the least amount of training.
Yeah, I tell people all the time, you have 100% chance of during an interaction that person can at any time do anything to you.
Yeah.
100%. 100% of the time they can have the potential to do anything to you.
I don't know a single
Now, will
officer.
they? No, they're probably not. But 100% of the time, the potential is there. If you interact with the right person at the wrong time, the potential is definitely going to be there. But what actually happens is less. But why not prepare for the absolute worst?
I don't know a single officer that's not had a fight with somebody. Like it happens not all the time, but if you are a cop for
or even pulls away from them,
right,
or turns a shoulder,
tries to run, fights you, something. It within a year. If you're at any kind of regular, especially in this area, someone's gonna fight you within a year.
Yeah.
Like it's gonna freaking happen. Like it's just gonna happen. It just does. And I'm blown away. And so when I teach defensive tactics, like I had Lisa come in.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to see guess what? 125-pound girl is. She was a white belt at the time. But she's strong. She's tough.
Yeah.
And she was choking them out.
The
whole point was just to show you. If that's a girl, so what do you think a 200-pound man's going to do?
Yeah.
You know.
The one thing that I will say is I think that there's a little bit more of a movement over the last year or so towards more law enforcement training.
Yeah. So
that's just the trend that I've seen, over the last year, I guess, is a lot more people, a lot more. I don't know if they're just posting more about it or if they're just more vocal about what they're doing. But over the last year or so, I've seen a lot more people, law enforcement-wise, having programs or advertising their programs, or so that is definitely a plus. That at least there's more people out there, even agencies themselves, that are having better training for their officers.
Yeah,
it's getting out. It has a lot to do with. Cops have been training for a while now, so there's cops in departments that are training, and the word's getting out. So my chief's asked me to develop a jiu-jitsu program for our department, so the guys will train every month, which is awesome.
Yeah,
and that's kudos to him for being forward thinking, and thinking, hey, this would really benefit our guys, and I would like to see more chiefs think ahead like that, because we're a small department and we've got the budget and we got the mats now and we got the space and we can do it. I know sure as shit Sugarland and some of these larger agencies have the budget and space.
Well, I know the first place that I started training with officers was up in Wichita. And I literally just started jiu-jitsu up then, but I was a wrestler and I'd fought. By the time I got to Wichita, I'd fought MMA eight times, I guess. So I started training with their officers every Saturday. We go train with them, and a lot of them a couple of them did training outside of that, but a few of them that's all they did was just go in there on a Saturday and train jiu-jitsu, have somebody teach them something, and train jiu-jitsu, and
it's happening.
I'm just thinking, I'm like, shit, if we get the guys to the schools, you're accomplishing so many of the things that are the problem in quotations with.
Well, look at that situation in
interactions
Pennsylvania. Did you see those 2 state troopers?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah.
That was nasty. But and someone pointed out to me because they had asked me what I thought, and they said, "Hey, was this guy in a position to put on a choke?" And it's saying a lot. That was a really violent, active scene. That guy was, he was determined. But the large officer actually did have his back at one point, and if he knew how to properly apply a choke, he could for certain put him down. I said at that point he probably could have domed him just because they'd already pulled the gun off him. He had 2 more guns on him, and it was such a violent scene. He was reaching for that one guy's gun at some point. So, in my mind, then you sacrificed your life at that point for the safety of the other officers. But someone was asking, I mean, if he had taught jujitsu, if he knew jujitsu, I know instinctually when I get on someone's back, it's just instinctual to start thinking of the choke.
Oh yeah.
So if you're training and you jump on that and you see that neck, it's like. Especially somebody who doesn't train, they don't protect their neck.
Oh yeah.
So immediately it just slides in like butter basically. They don't know to stop it. And it's for certain if he had trained, he might have been able to finish the fight right there. And
that's the common misconception about that choke too, is that you're doing damage to them. If you do it properly, I mean, the only thing you're doing is just putting them to sleep for a short amount of time.
Yeah. Well, I've done it. We had a violent guy that fought, and I had to use a choke to put him out, and boom, and he was handcuffed. He woke up handcuffed. He didn't know. Yeah. He didn't believe he was handcuffed, and I was like, "Yeah, you're handcuffed." No, I'm not. Well, try to move your hands right now. You're handcuffed. And he had no memory. The last thing he remembered was fighting, That's the last thing he remembered. And he
which
just
is
woke up.
perfect. You know, and that's
No damage to him, no
Yeah.
damage to us.
Yeah.
And
And that's
went home.
and what we're not advocating. I don't think is going around choking everybody, but just
No.
it done properly. It has it distinct advantages to end something less violently rather quickly.
yeah.
So.
It does. It's very effective. So hopefully, I think departments are coming around. It's
Yeah.
happening. It's the slow, like everything, especially when it comes to police departments and stuff like that. It's very slow. Everything grinds very slowly. But
Yeah. Well, you get that overtone of everything of a liability.
that's the number one concern.
So if we
Every-
train them to be able to choke and then they choke, then we.
So
the
you were
department
asking the
advocate it.
question earlier. That is the issue.
Yeah.
So in Texas, TCOLs, I would have to, like, speaking about me specifically, in order for me to go into a department to teach them, I would have to be a certified instructor. So that way, anything that I teach them, the department wouldn't have to have that liability
Right.
of an outside resource teaching their officers something that they potentially could use that could potentially get them in trouble.
Right.
That's what the issue
Yeah,
is.
the state
I've
does.
run
They have a
into.
lot of
Yeah.
there's strict rules about who teaches and who doesn't, and it has to be two things. It has to be multiple things, and one of them is you have to be certified by the state as an instructor, which I am, and then your department has to certify you as a subject matter expert.
Okay.
Right. So those two things, and then if you're not actually certified by the state, but you're an officer and you're certified by your department as a subject matter expert, then you have to be a certified instructor has to be with you to kind of because it's like when you do so I do a lot of teaching.
Mhm.
You have to do full on lesson plans. I mean, it's not like I think people think cops just get in a room and just like. Spew
All right,
stuff.
guys,
Yeah.
move the donuts
Shit.
aside.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah, we're gonna. Yeah, this is 101.
Not too far
This
to
is
the
101
side.
report writing today. But no, I mean, like, just a big involved process, and you have to maintain records, and everything can be audited. It's like putting on a class is no joke. It takes a lot of man hours to get that stuff. Now, once you kind of got a template down, it's not as bad, but yeah, it's they have strict standards on what they want done. So a civilian teaching, the rules are different as far as that goes.
So it would be easier. Really, the end of the game is it's easier to get them to go to the schools as opposed to have somebody come to them and teach.
100%. And plus,
Yeah.
Honestly, it's something like this is something people should be doing on their own anyway. Right?
Well,
the department doesn't have the time. You don't have the
right.
time you have a function of a department. You have a job you have to do for 8 or 12 hours, whatever your shift is. And that job is not training.
Right.
Training is really an outside extra thing you do. Now, some departments will allow training hours during the month, but then still the number one goal is you only got so many hours in the day,
Right.
and departments can only pay for so much stuff. So,
I just know in HPD they give guys special time off to do bodybuilding.
what?
Oh yeah, I can't drop names. I can't give you the
Oh,
names.
shit.
I
Just
could
a
drop names.
bodybuild
Doing bodybuilding or CrossFit or these other things. So I'm
for
like,
physical exercise. Well, Sugarland does the same thing. They give their guys, I think it's
Fit
3
break.
hours a week.
Fit break.
Yeah, they give them a 1 hour fit break.
Fit break,
So guys
okay.
use that to train jujitsu or lift or go home and take a nap.
so I'm just
Work.
thinking we got to get them to subsidize that crap.
I don't know. Yeah, it'd be nice, but
City
it's
pays half.
expensive. Shit, get a city to pay half.
No, they ain't paying.
No, that ain't happening.
They shut that down at this total off subject, but at all the local gyms, they shut down all of the city subsidies for the officers
What,
and fire
Sugarland?
department. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I heard about that. Problem was the guys weren't using it.
Yeah, that's
Guys,
what the
we
problem
Yeah,
use
is.
it,
well,
that's why they
yeah,
shut it down.
and a lot, but this, like if you're going to subsidize and nobody's using it, that's not costing you any money.
I think they were paying a certain amount. No, I think they were already paying a certain amount
Just to hold it.
Yeah,
Oh,
and then
okay. So
cops-
then it was
they
costing.
weren't even
Okay.
fucking doing it.
Shit.
And which blows me. I don't get it. I literally don't get it. And I have friends who, they don't do shit. They
Yeah.
work and they do other stuff when they get off work. I'm like, go work out or do something. What if we get a fight? What if you're my backup and I'm getting my ass kicked? I fucking need you in shape so you can jump on that guy and help me out.
Yeah, okay, I got questions for you
Yes.
because I'm assuming
I have answers.
I'm making the assumption you're a big UFC MMA
Oh,
follower, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
You're familiar, right?
Yeah.
Okay. To me,
Uh-huh.
jiu-jitsu is far more interesting than UFC. But also, Muay Thai fighting is more interesting to me than UFC. It's individual. So some of the arts are now in boxing. Forget it. No, it's absolutely not more interesting to me than UFC. But some of those things. So, 2 questions. One is, how do you think that if it can happen, that jiu-jitsu can grow? I don't think it'll ever be the same level as UFC because you don't have people getting busted up in the face and things like that. So how can we get it to grow? And then why do you think the UFC we don't see more leg locks? I see so many missed from every UFC event that I watch. It almost frustrates the shit out of me. Like how quick.
That is a good question. I've never thought about why I didn't see more.
The answers, Brian.
I do.
The first one's easier than the second one, but it was like, damn it. But I mean, you've got to, if you think about that, go watch any of the videos.
Nah,
you're going to watch them literally just wide open pass 2 or 3 opportunities of a leg lock.
So my philosophy on that is, I guess I'll go from the philosophy of a fighter, is this. Anytime someone, because I don't do a lot of leg locks.
Yeah.
I usually only will attack the legs if it's like right there in front of me blatantly.
Yes.
But my game doesn't.
Foot crushes with his hand.
But my game doesn't play into attacking the legs. My game plays into attacking the neck, because that's just what I prefer. I prefer choking necks, not choking feet. And so, from the idea of the fighter, when I was fighting, anytime someone goes to attack my foot or goes to attack my leg, they take their hands from being able to defend their face and grabbing onto something that leaves me with 2 free hands.
Yeah.
So anytime someone's down here, I was always trying to punch them in the face. So from the fighter's perspective, if punches are involved, anytime something goes from being able to defend your face and having to obligate 2 things to one thing, it punches definitely change the equation.
Yeah.
That's why I think you see a lot more leg locks going on now in no-gi tournaments and things like that, is because punches aren't involved. It makes it more difficult when you have the ability to get punched in the face and you don't have hands to protect yourself with.
Yeah.
If you're attacking the ankles and feet and legs, that just gives them more opportunities to punch you, and that generally doesn't react too well to faces getting punched.
You've seen a little bit of combat jiu-jitsu. You've seen that.
Yeah.
And I think I agree with you. I think you've seen less leg attacks in the combat jiu-jitsu. I don't know how much you've watched.
Over heel hooks, I would say you would see more toe holds and knee bars over heel hooks.
Yeah.
Because even with the toe hold, everything is in tight.
You're compact.
Knee bar, everything is in tight. You don't knee bar from out here. You don't toe hold from out here. But heel hooks, you may need to.
You're much more exposed.
Yeah. You can't get your head down there and So I would say if you're going to see leg attacks in MMA, you're going to see more of a toe hold or knee bar over heel hook.
Yeah.
So
it just seems like one of those. I see him pass it a lot, and it doesn't mean, again, they could be worried about a punch, they could be worried about elbows, they could be worried about all the other kinds of things in this, and then it seems to be something that would be so unexpected.
Yeah.
That you could, at least for a few fights, get away with it.
Well, you saw Paul Harris doing that for a little while, just ripping into people's legs and trying to rip people's knees apart.
But I think people kind of maybe figured out the equation, and punches were a large majority of the answer to that equation.
Yeah.
If he's attacking my legs and he wants to try to rip it off, I continue to punch him in the face. He's going to take so many more punches to the face to when he has to address that.
Who did he fight that really countered it really well?
It was what's his name from Louisiana, Belcher, Alan Belcher.
Yeah. Did he catch him with a leg lock, or did he just?
He tried to. I don't know what the ending thing of that was. Yeah, Alan Belcher, I think, was the first one.
Yeah, he's the one that really went in and went deep in the. Have you seen him lately, Paul Harris?
Dude,
my God! Have you seen pictures of him?
Is that was that? I did, but I don't know how recent it was.
I had to take a second.
Where he's like all just
I thought it was a filter.
I thought it was
fake,
right?
Yes.
It ain't fake.
There's no way. There is no way that's real.
It was one of the where
they showed him
that
training.
Dude is ginormous.
His hands look like they got bigger.
That dude is ginormous.
His hands look and he's fighting Craig James. right? At the next Polaris or no?
Jones.
Craig Jones. I say James all the time.
Yeah.
Craig Jones. And
Rick
he's fighting
James.
at the-
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. But
That dude's super cool. Super nice guy.
Yeah, I really like to meet him. Paul Harris or Craig Jones?
Jones.
He's got some.
Well, because the Harris thing, it was one of those memes, where you get the still picture, right? And it looks like they're overinflated. Like they'll blow up LeBron James and all this other kind of
Well, that's what I said. I thought it was a filter
Yeah.
or something.
It's what it looked like. And then it had a couple of his highlights right after.
Yeah.
And then I was
Oh,
like,
that's really
what
him.
the shit?
And I thought he was kind of jacked before.
Yeah, he is ginormous now.
He is just like I think they took an IV and he was just loading it up all night while he slept.
I don't know.
And then got
Like I
up
said,
at
I have no idea what's going on with that. But the only thing I'll say about that whole situation is he is ginormous now. He's a lot bigger than he used to be.
No shit.
And that's either a lot of Wheaties and a whole bunch of pumping iron, which
Horsepower.
good on you, or whatever it is. But that dude
Man.
is significantly larger than he was.
That's
Little assistance.
man, that's fucking Brazilian supplements right there. But yeah, well, we'll see if it helps him or not when he goes against.
I don't know.
I'm really excited about that. Yeah, he looked freakish. It did look fake.
The one thing that I have found with people, like I trained with one today, that are big like that, there's just no leverage to gain on those people.
Yeah.
Because they're so it's so tough to get leverage on anything. Leg weaves or attacking any type of their body is just so compact, it makes it difficult. Especially Nogi. Nogi, man.
You just choke him.
Yeah.
There's nothing to choke.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing. Those guys.
When
there's
you get
nothing
the
to choke.
overdeveloped traps
Yeah.
and stuff, and you just tense, you ain't even got to drop your chin.
Right.
You're not.
I mean, it's just tough to choke those guys.
Yeah.
And I love choking people.
It's also harder for the bigger guys to get crap on you too, because they can't move. Their mobility is
Right.
not the same.
No, that's true. That's for sure true.
So a little give and take. That's
Yeah.
the game.
I don't
Some-
know. I think you see more. I think
Juju's just chilling down here.
yeah, she's always chill. I think you see more. I think as heel hooks and the late game continues to evolve because it's kind of evolving right now. I think you'll see it introduced more into UFC fights.
So that's like with anything. There's always a crazy phase. Remember when Worm
Yeah.
Guard was a crazy phase, and then all these different guards. Barambola, everybody wants to try Barambola now after Sammy Braga's been doing it for like 15 years. You see all these trends like in the combat
In
of
all
ours.
fairness, Mendez brothers made it more famous.
It was one dude.
I'm just saying the Mendez brothers made it more famous than Braga.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
Okay.
I know it's a friend of yours.
All I'm saying is there are these trends that come and go, and then initially, since a lot of people aren't accustomed to these I would say new techniques, but they're not new techniques. They're just techniques,
Rebooted.
These things work more often because not a lot of people are used to seeing them and working through to defend them.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you see how to beat this. Like all the videos come out like shortly after these new techniques are being used, like, and how to beat this game or how to beat that game. And it's always funny how the evolution of jiu-jitsu. That's the thing that I like about jiu-jitsu over other combat arts like karate or taekwondo. They're like pre-made forms, and like you do this and you do this and you do that. With jiu-jitsu is you do whatever.
Yeah.
Like
It works.
It's
if it
wide
works,
open.
it works.
Yeah.
Like literally.
It is
hey,
wide open.
you muscled that. Hey, guess what? I've got muscles. They're gonna work. I
You know,
can't take these muscles away.
It's funny. I've had someone I'll have people ask, and I remember thinking this too. Like, well, is it okay if I do it that way? I go, did it work?
Yeah.
They go, yeah. I go, then do it. I was like,
Yeah.
if it works, it
Now,
works.
Now, obviously, you're trying to work for a clean, proper technique,
Right.
but ultimately, specifically talking about law enforcement, and I posted something the other day about this too. If you practice something properly, and this is directly going to correlate to training, because it was about practice. Practice. You don't want to talk about practice. You don't want to talk about the game. You don't talk about practice.
It's not even a competition.
Right.
It's just
So, talking about practice, if you practice something, the most correct that you can do it as many times as humanly possible, you're going to get good at it.
Yeah.
And not worry about speed or anything. Speed will come with proficiency of the technique. But if the only thing that you're concerned with is doing it fast right off the bat and getting through a certain amount of reps, I just got to do this 25 times fast. Move.
Yep.
No. I guarantee you do it 5 times slow, that's going to beat that 25 times fast 100% of the time. And then when you go to practically apply that in a real life scenario, if you practice it correctly, you're going to get it pretty close to being correct.
Yeah.
Because you practice doing it right with little resistance. But when the resistance comes, at least you're going to be close to getting it right. If you practice it shitty, you're
toast.
It's going to be worse than shitty.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, you know, like, so like Atos guys are big on high volume, fast reps.
Still correct reps though.
But correct reps.
Well,
not-
correct,
yeah.
but I know they push real hard to do those high volumes.
But high volume isn't bad, but you have to
With
build to
speed.
that. But you have to build to that.
Yeah.
I guarantee they don't expect their people to do 1,000 of these as fast as humanly possible. I mean, obviously, the faster they do them, the quicker they're going to get done with those 1,000 reps. But
you know Ed Ramos. So he was Atos. I think he still is. And he was, when I first started, well, a little after I first started, he was teaching at the gym I was at, and he was a great instructor, by the way. And but that's one thing they preached, and I remember they were telling me that's kind of the Atos way of doing it. It was speed. He was like pushing us for speed, like do the rep. Okay, now faster. And that's how we do the reps, like all the time. And I just thought it was just their philosophy on.
Well, I mean, there's some main muscle movements that you can do fast repetition. If you think about a leg drag, all I care about is getting this motion down, leg drag, bullfight pass. All I care about is moving getting the motion of this. So yeah, I mean, with that, I would probably start doing those as fast as possible, because those are big muscle movements, that just getting that muscle movement. Then once you get this, then all the refinement comes into play, just getting, but the big muscle movement of getting the leg on the other side of your body, or lifting up and then passing, or simply passing the guard, going to the back, when they sit into your guard pass, immediately going to the back. Those are speed things, because those are big muscle movement things. Yeah. But the refinement, the speed's only going to come with a refined technique, with correct repetition, building to that speed. Same thing with drawing a pistol, getting a proper sight picture on the punch, and be ready to fire at the extension of your arms with the proper sight picture in play. A lot of people are coming up, so it takes forever to get a sight picture, but the only way you can do that is by practicing it slow until you finally get to where you can start practicing it faster and still getting that sight picture. But you tell people, hey, I want you to shoot as fast as you can at that target.
Oh.
They're going to be missing shit.
Bitos.
Crazy.
You seen that video of that dude that shot himself in the leg? You see that fat guy?
I heard about it. I didn't see it.
Oh, man. He's trying to go fast, and he goes, pop!
I shot myself in the leg. Yeah, I saw that.
I think he's wearing a cowboy hat too.
Yeah,
it's like 2 sizes too small.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
But that's the same thing with jiu-jitsu too. A lot of people want to cut it fast. But any skill, anything that you're trying to get better at, you have to develop the slow pace and then build to that speed. Yeah. But it starts with correct technique. So
yeah, I don't know. I'm all about speed.
Yeah, I can tell. Built like a bowling ball.
Yeah, I'm streamlined. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, damn it.
Yeah, like a greyhound. Look at him sit up. He's like, yeah, streamlined. Like a greyhound. Yeah.
And I lift weights
I'm
too.
Really, literally, I tell people I'm built like a Minecraft figure. I'm thinking of the worst body. I'm
fire hydrant.
I'm a fire hydrant. I'm like a Lego block.
Right.
Just put me right there. That's what I look like.
All right, guys. Jason, the Legos teaching class today. We're gonna do robotic movements.
I got the heat press. We could fix all of his gear. He'll never know. And he puts it on. It's like, oh shit, all Legos.
Yeah.
He will now be Lego.
Like the Lego outfits. You ever see like?
Oh yeah.
Like they had the doctor, the cop, the firefighter. Let's come with the Lego.
You could do that. I like it.
Didn't match.
That's gonna be your new emoji. Is a
Lego.
A Lego.
I'll put a gorilla with the Lego on.
Right.
So
did you get patches made, or what's the deal?
What patches? Oh, I haven't done it yet because I don't know a good place to go.
I got you.
You gonna take care of me? Somebody getting patches done.
I got you.
Oh, I gotta tell you, I'm not gonna put the person on blast.
Man, my stomach is growling right now.
But real quick,
somebody got to eat.
I'm gonna show you.
Before, remember he said I went up showered and ate.
No training.
I was working hard.
Shit.
Sweating in the garage. Anyway,
we have 2 confused people and 1 not right here right now.
So this guy started using my thing, BJJ Cop, and he was calling it BJJ Cop Technique of the Week. you know who he is. I'll show you when we leave.
Oh.
I think I saw that.
Yeah. I was like, that's not cool. So I hit up my other friend before I talked to this guy. I hit up the other guy, Jiu-Jitsu cop. I hit him up. I said, Brian. His name's Brian also. I said, hey, man, what do you think of this? Should I mean, am I being overly sensitive about it? And he said, dude, if that guy did that, I would be upset too. I was like, okay. So I'm going to go ahead and I sent him a real nice message like, hey, fan of your page, which is true. He shows good stuff. It's like, but, this is kind of uncool. And then he tried to blow it off like, well, I've said this before, and, it's just, we're all cops and we need to be showing each other stuff. I said, I totally agree with all that stuff. I was like, but.
Don't pass it off as yours.
I said, if you said jiu-jitsu cop, the other guy wouldn't be real happy about it. And so then he came back and says, okay, I'm just like, use a little imagination. Like, it's not, you can think of something. Just use a little imagination to make it your own. You don't have to like steal the thing I've been using. And I was just, man. So, and now I'm like, fuck, I guess I better start doing some stuff to solidify it a little bit so someone doesn't.
But I got you. Patches,
Yeah.
stickers. Need a sticker for the sticker wall.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. I might redo the emoji a little bit.
I got Yezi's patch today. Oh, yeah, you did too.
We did too. We both got the donut patches. I think I got it in my pocket.
That thing was so badass.
This is a cool ass patch.
So you're going to do your BJJ cop as a patch?
Yeah.
Oh.
She gave us this. She gave Brian and us this today. This is cool because I love donuts.
Yeah.
Cop.
Yeah. I love donuts because I love donuts.
You see that? So she gave us both one of those today.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty cool.
I love donuts because I love
That's
donuts.
kind of funny.
Donuts are amazing.
Yeah.
I don't know why people don't admit to loving donuts.
Psh, yeah, you tell me. Luke and I get donuts all the time.
Yeah,
Nothing wrong with some donuts.
These guys,
Just work it off.
these guys can eat everything they want. It's
Shit,
like nothing.
dude.
Freaking eating cheeseburgers all day. Like you eat nachos. I hate you guys.
He gets all his fucking panties in a wad because he's like,
Nachos
I'm
are
like, let's go have
delicious.
some lunch, right? Let's go bullshit, go have some lunch. I'm like, get it, dude, it's on me, it's cool. What'd you get?
Chicken and rice or something.
Like some
I don't know.
grilled chicken and like
I
rice
have to
and a
eat
little
like
salsa
that.
and
I'm
shit.
just not built like you guys. I'm told
So
you.
I'm
I'm built
sitting
like
here
a South Park figure.
With the big full plate of
You
nachos
had a
at Berry Hill.
giant plate of nachos.
You know, and
with
the Berry Hill
everything.
nachos, I know you've been.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Fucking, they're great. It's
Yeah.
like one chip is like this.
I like Berry Hill.
Yeah.
And there's 8 or 10 of them on there and all this stuff. And he looks at me and he's like sad, puppy dog eyes.
Poor feller.
And then Nick's is eating whatever too.
Poor little feller.
Yeah, it was uncool.
I'm just saying you don't have to always be skinny, dude.
You
It's
guys
good.
are always skinny. I'm always chubby. I always got to work hard just to get less chubby. It's freaking
Maybe-
hard for me. I'm
Maybe
not like
Lisa's
you guys.
sneaking stuff
Y'all
in your
have
food, man.
genetic advantages over me. And don't
Oh,
make
shit.
that face. It's true.
Oh,
It's
wait, hold on. Who-
scientifically
wait.
Factual. Different people have different bodies.
He's forgetting who's to his left.
Yeah, I'm freaking Mr. America over here.
No.
I
The
got Mr.
education
America-
side.
I got Mr. America 1 and Mr. America 2 over here, Captain America's. I'm like, who's the like least cool character? The guy with the wings, Hawkeye or whatever? That's this guy.
The guy with him.
Dwarf on golf.
You know what I'm talking
Yeah.
about? The black guy from Captain America. He's like a sidekick, Falcon or whatever. He's
I don't want to be a sidekick.
He's an Air Force guy too, so it's
Yeah, I know.
perfect. That's
He's
me.
PJ guy.
That's me. He's a little chunky, but still,
Oh, damn
still
it.
attractive.
Yeah.
Anyway,
All right. Well, I think Brian's hungry.
yeah.
Man, I almost stopped on the way over here too.
Shoulda.
I was like, man, I'd just tell Jason to drop me a pin. I'm gonna stop and get some
Could have
food.
inhaled a burger or something.
Damn.
Yeah, I
son.
got to go. We're actually having pulled pork at Tony's.
Oh, thanks for the
Oh,
invite.
get out.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, I heard about that too. You heard about
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
Yeah, the pulled pork over at Tony's.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks, Tony.
You're invited.
Shit.
Yeah.
I just invited you.
Whatever, guys.
You can wait till 7 o'clock. They'll be ready about.
7 o'clock.
What
Oh, no.
the-
I'm not waiting till
They'll be
7.
ready at 6 o'clock. I'm sorry.
Ah.
Between 5 and 6.
No.
Get out,
You
man.
can't wait. You can't wait. I don't tell you. If you're not patient.
No, I'm gonna eat right now. I'm starving.
Yeah.
Well, I wanna
What's
go-
on it? Double cheeseburger?
Ooh, I don't know. Whatever crazy over here wants.
Oh, why are you leaving up to young people, man? They don't have the wisdom yet.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
do
go get
that.
on a Stairmaster.
Yeah.
I still
need
got-
to,
I
faggot.
got like 8 pounds to lose before the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, I gotta go do legs after this.
Oh well, I guess I'll see you there.
Yeah, I'll see you up there.
You guys have fun. I'm gonna go eat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah, thank you.
So,
for having me.
WeDefyFoundation.org. correct?
WeDefyFoundation.org for combat disabled veterans.
Mhm.
There's different ways that they can get sponsorships or support, help. We're always looking to raise money, funds for combat disabled veterans to be able to train jiu-jitsu. We've got people on the waiting list right now. We just did a big swap with people that just came off of scholarship,
Mhm.
and then people are getting ready to go on scholarship. But We still have a number of people on the waiting list that we're always looking for funding for to complete them. It generally takes about, people ask this all the time, what does it take to fund a jiu-jitsu person for a year? In general, it takes us about $2,500 per veteran per year.
Which is not much.
Which is not
in regards of funding and donations and things of
Funding
that
and
nature. Yeah.
donations.
Yeah.
So,
So we need to get that up.
Yep.
Do you have an active, is it on the site? The
Yes.
active donation
Yes.
buttons and stuff? Okay.
Yep.
Because I kind of glanced, but I was on my phone and scrolling
Yep.
and
it's
2-year-old
there.
going.
We just,
apeshit.
like I said, we just got the store back up. It's
Okay.
bare bones right now, but we needed to get it back up. It's down for about a month, and to get stuff out to people, and we're actively working to build that right now.
Yeah.
So,
See?
Awesome stuff.
We gotta
it's
go off
it's
the- yeah.
really cool because we got a couple guys. We got 2.
no, we had more than that. We had 6 at a
6
time,
at a
then a
time.
couple moved out. But all those guys just came off a scholarship and
Yeah.
are back to.
Yeah, they're
Staying to
trained.
train
And they
and-
train constantly. They're all.
Yeah.
they take
I'll be
full
in
advantage of it.
Livermore, California next weekend at Aries BJJ, doing a seminar out there with those guys. Every month we're somewhere doing a seminar. So
With the one you had yesterday, was that anything related, or was that
no,
separate?
that was just
That was a separate
just
deal?
a seminar.
Okay. Yeah. I saw the promo and I was like, wait, I didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Thanks for coming
So
out,
when's the
man.
next time we're gonna have like a We Defy seminar at the gym?
So Jeff Messina is supposed to have one on September 9th. I think he and I just
Okay.
figured out that day.
Y'all know who's gonna be there?
We're working on that too.
Cool.
The only thing about it is September 8th, there's a tournament in town, and that was going to be on September 8th, and I asked him if he wanted to change it, and so we're trying to figure out the date to have that here in town.
That'd be cool. But it was the last one. We had like Chris Howder.
Mm-hmm.
That was super awesome. Those are great seminars, and the cause is awesome too.
Yep.
So
Yeah. See, that's
Excited.
what. Yeah.
That's it.
We're gonna have to figure out a way to
Sweet.
help with that.
I don't know.
what you gonna eat? Corn dogs. You can go to James Coney.
Son of a bitch, corn
I might have
dogs.
to go to Berry Hill now that I'm
Get
thinking
that
about
Ooh,
nachos.
those
it. He likes
nachos.
chicken quesadillas.
Those are pretty good too.
Yeah,
They don't play, man.
I know. Delicious
Alright.
food.
I'll go get on a
Yeah.
Stairmaster.
I have fun, Fatty.
Yeah, I'll make
Thank
fun
you
of you.
guys so much.
I appreciate you guys having me
Yeah.
on.
No, I
Oh,
appreciate you
that's
coming on,
awesome.
man.
Thanks, Brian.
Yeah,
Appreciate
we're gonna do what we can to help you out too, man.
Sounds good. Thank you.
We'll get some of that rolling. So everybody, all the pages, all the links, and everything, I think are actually already below. I was ahead of the game this time.
Yeah, you were.
I had
saw
like
that.
30 minutes to
Nailed it.
be ready. Shit,
Nailed
that
it.
doesn't happen all the time. Must have been
Yeah, and if
special.
anybody's in the Southwest Houston area want to come train at the gym and they're law enforcement, first 6 months is free, no questions asked.
And if you're not law enforcement, that might even be better because then it's paying customers.
Yeah, but I do have a ton of cops that train there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a lot.
So
It's pretty cool.
I've actually got a few that are in the little bad area right off 59 in Bel Air here that I keep in contact with that need some help.
Send them over, man.
So yeah,
Hell yeah. I get super excited when cops train. I'm like, oh, thank you.
you get that shit. I'm so stressed out. I don't have time to do that shit after work. I'm like, it's the perfect time to do it when you get off work.
Right.
Like you're that stressed out. Like
Get it out of your system.
roll. But
Yeah.
anyway, yeah, you got to go eat. So thank you everybody. Thank you Brian. Thanks for being in the middle, man. The
I'm used
donut
to
or the cream of the
I'm used
donut
to
or
it.
whatever the fuck you call
I'm used
yourself.
to being the peanut butter, jelly.
Yeah, you're the glue that's holding us
Sticking-
together. Some
sticking it
bullshit.
together.
you're something.
You go get skinny and thank everybody. We'll see you guys next time.
Mom's
See you
like,
guys.